Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday from the Littleton Historical Museum, and it is 10:30 in the morning. So listen, I thought I'd do a real different program today. All right? Um, you have been watching programs that have had a lot of research done in order to come up with information. Okay? So, just to give you an idea, this is how we got our information. I thought I'd give you a tour through the research area and how we find things. Okay. Hey, Diane. Good morning, neighbor. Um, so, this is our program. Yes, how we do research, or a wild trip through the archives. I mean, it doesn't get any more wild than this, does it, folks? And it's only Diane who's watching, but that's okay. More people. Look at, there we go. There's Mary Louise. Good morning. So, yes, we are going to show how I'm going to show, and I have Glenn here, and we're being really socially distant. I'm making him wear a shopping bag over his head, so we're good. So I've got to really hurry up because it's plastic, and he only has so much time. So, we no, Glenn's not wearing a shopping bag. Yeah, Glenn doesn't have a shopping bag. So anyway, I thought that we would do this and be kind of an interesting thing, and you might get a neat idea, a good idea that once when everything opens, we figured out how we're going to open and work this all out. And if you want to do research, it'll show you what this shows you what we have available and how we process this. So I had a little bit of fun putting this together. By the way, at the end of all of our series, you probably should be able to identify our logo. You see them? Thanks to Barb Radmore for shaking my tree and saying, you should probably put the logo there. And I thought, great idea. So here we go. Frequently asked questions. So we always have people come down and go, hey, I'm researching a certain person, can you help me? All right. My great-grandfather lived on Union Street. Where was his house? I want to drive by and wave. All right. I'm researching this Kilburn Stereoscopic Company. Now, it could be Kilburn, could be any of the companies that we had in town, because Littleton was quite an industrial center, still is. All right. Do you have any information? I chose Kilburn because it's probably the easiest, and I can kind of zip through this with little or no difficulty. All right. So I just had to set my timer so I don't overshoot on this. All right. I'm looking for information on Pattonville. I've had that question, or just any specific place in the town of Littleton or the area. I just bought a house at XXX Street. What can you tell me about it? Okay. Well, here we have, what's her name?
Esther.
Esther. All right. This came from Glenn, and I thought it was really good. I'm writing an article about the Littleton author, Eleanor Hogman Porter. Can you help me? So then I would correct her, and I'd say, Esther, that's wrong. And she would reply, sorry, it's Hodgman, my bad. Okay. Oh, Frederick Tilton, good morning. You're new to the group. Good morning. All right. So, here we go. And this is really kind of small, but I'm going to do this anyway. Once again, there's our wonderful logo. So, I'm going to take care of Esther. Steps in researching Eleanor Hodgman Porter. And you see, I have kind of like 11 that we can do. So, I mean, if we're researching people, if we're researching Henry Tilton, you catch that one, Frederick? So if we're researching, this is what we would do. Doug Hadfield, good morning, Doug. Okay, we have these books. I have the 1905 genealogy. And this is what Glenn is now going to become my cameraman. Okay? And I'm going to bring you over here so you can see this. And I'm going over there. And I'm going to get a book. Glenn, you'll be the cameraman. If you have to move this thing, I'll tell you where to move it. All right. We have the Littleton, the 1905. How does that? Am I focused on it?
Yep.
The 1905 Littleton History. It's a 3-volume set. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And believe it or not, somebody did actually scan these things. I don't know who did. Might have been Library of Congress. I have no idea. But you can find these online. This is a genealogy. So what I would look up is we're looking at Eleanor Hodgman Porter. Am I in it or am I too far?
You're good.
Eleanor Hodgman Porter. So her maiden name was Hodgman. So then I would go to H, which I probably should have stuck a paper in here. We have G, H, 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 H. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Hodgman. Here we go. So, let us see the page. Here we go. She's on page 263. And her name, Eleanor Emily Hodgman, born December 19th, 1868. She married John Lyman Porter, May 3rd, 1892. Banker, resides in New York. Okay? But if we go back, she had a brother named Fred, and he was a machinist. He lived in Providence, Rhode Island. Her father was Francis Fletcher Hodgman, son of Francis. He was born 1840, married Luella, who was a daughter of Elijah Wolson, and it gives their religious affiliation, Episcopal. He was Republican. I mean, these really were very, very right down. So then I go up to the next name above, and I have Charles Hodgman, who was Eleanor's uncle, and I have her 4 cousins, and then I can go up to her grandfather, Francis Hodgman, then up to her great-grandfather, Oliver, and her great-great-grandfather. So, I mean, I can research just in this book. All right, Glenn, how am I doing?
Good.
Okay, can you see Hodgman? All right, so I can actually, just from this one book, I can pretty well go back to the roots of the Hodgman family and the author of Pollyanna. Okay, so this is one of the books. Okay, so here's another thing that's interesting. We have these, and this is our first thing. Over here, we have a whole collection of business directories. And these directories, there are some here. These are 1889 to 1900, and it's also 1903 are in here, okay? I am holding 1917 to 1919. Now, if we go through this and we look up Hodgman, it has...
Step back.
I got to step back. Thank you.
There you go.
And if we look, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, come on. It's an old book, so kind of like... Oh, there's Harry Heald. H-O-D... Hey, heck, there were no Hodgmans in 1917. Now, Hodgkins. So, that's going to tell me that the Hodgman family was pretty well not around here in 1917, around World War I. I think Uncle Charles passed away in the 1890s. But we will use these, and I may not find all of the Hodgmans in here. I think if I used 1889, I will probably find Uncle Charles in there because he ran the jewelry store. Because Eleanor's grandfather, who died in 1865, he was an apothecarist and a jeweler. And when he passed, I think, I'm pretty sure, her father took over the apothecary section and her uncle took over the jewelry. And they are listed in this book here. So this will tell us, and we can also, in there, when we find their name, it'll also tell us where they lived. It'll give us their street. Now, we come back here, and it says, now, we can look up Eleanor Hodgman Porter. So Glenn, if you flip it around that way bring it around that way, um, we have extensive files, okay? It's like all over the place here, okay? Here are the schools. Now, Eleanor did not graduate from high school. She was sickly. After her father died in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, her mother brought she and her brother back. I did go through to see if Eleanor graduated from high school. Nope, never happened. I did find in the schools, I have, these are really kind of neat. And we have like, tell me when I'm in focus here, Glenn.
Good. Right there.
All right, and you could read the label?
Yep.
Okay, cool. We have a lot of these, and you can see the date, you can see it's the grade school, and when you open it up, we actually do have the original, am I in?
Yep.
We have the original catalog, okay? So, you can go through and look up the names. I did find her brother as listed in school, and I remember doing research, finding the handwritten student list done in the teacher's handwriting, and she called him, he was listed as Freddie Hodgman, okay? Now, if we want to find more, okay, we have schools. This is our photograph collection, and it's all done. We have everything all listed on the outside. You can see there are papers in envelopes hanging on the front here, okay? But we have photographs of all sorts, and it's all alphabetical and under by title. We have bridges, cemeteries, churches, disasters, floods, events, and all of these, I will tell you in a minute because I have to move somewhere else. Here's residents A through G, and if you look up Porter's here, even though she didn't live here as a Porter. You open up under P, down here, and there are, there's Paddleford. Okay, and here are, there we go. We have, are we there? Okay, we have 5 files on Eleanor Hodgman Porter. So if you're looking up Eleanor, we have all sorts of information here. So that's one way, and as I said, I chose Eleanor Hodgman Porter when I was putting this together because I knew it would be relatively easy, okay, to find things. Then we moved down this way, and this is just, these are the general files, and we have page upon page, and it's all thanks to Jan Maltais, one of our volunteers. When she came on as a volunteer, she said, "What can I do?" I said, "You see those file cabinets?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "I want to know what's in them." And she, took her a while, but she went through, wrote everything down, and then typed them up, and we keep these going. Now over here, we have, I don't know if you can you see that, Glenn?
Yeah, I think so.
Obituaries, and we've been scanning them because they will be connected into the New Hampshire State Historical Society. Because with the program we have, we will be connecting with them so people can do research online. We're still working on this, and the pandemic kind of like shut us down on it. But we have the obits are all in here. These are like for A, and we do have. How's that look?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Okay, so we do have obituaries. Then down here we have vital statistics. Okay, and if you go down through here, you open up. Here's that viewable. I can't.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
Vital statistics, 1873 to 1899, and these are all taken from the Littleton town reports. So we can we can, I mean, I'm not telling you that we score 100% on everything, but we do a pretty darn good job.
Here's one for you from Melissa Eves. Hey, Mr. A, does the museum have vital records or directories for Errol, New Hampshire?
No, just Littleton.
I know it's a different country.
Yeah, it is a different country. Okay, now I'm going to flip around this way. Okay, and Glenn, okay, I need this one. All right, you got it?
Yep.
Okay, so other ways of doing this. We also have the Glenwood Cemetery records. So we have the cemetery records for Wheeler Hill, St. Rose, Glenwood, and the Memorial Park. Now this is the new St. Rose, 1919. All right, it's not the one that's out on the Brook Road. So if we were to hit Control and F, type in Hodgman, Samuel Hodgman, plot number 556, died December 5th, 1911. And I believe that he was a cousin. Sarah Hodgman, plot 556, died 1892. Charles Hodgman, that's her uncle, the one who owned the house that was torn down. When her grandfather died, Charles ended up with the big house, and it was removed to make way for the library. Okay, so there's Charles, and I told you he died before 1900, and he did. It was October 12th, 1895. Mary B. Fletcher Hodgman died 1867, which would have been her paternal grandmother. She's in plot 65. Francis Hodgman, 1864. Okay, that's her grandfather. He was 65 years old, plot 65. And then we're back to Samuel. So sometimes if people ask, well, we don't really know the date or whatever, we can do a search like this. Now, as I said, we have all sorts of photographs, and most of them, they're all pretty well scanned. Yeah, it took me forever to scan them. Well, and I had help, believe me. But and here's just, it's not a Hodgman photo, but I just wanted to show that we do have many old photographs. All right, now I've got to sneak my way here and see. We have newspapers. So the newspapers, all right, Glenn, am I getting this in it?
Yes.
Or you just have my big hairy
no.
hand? Okay, these are the newspapers. And we have Littleton newspapers from 1850 to 1949. And thanks to the library, we have all the Littleton Couriers have been digitized. Okay, and we will have an update on this. But this is December 3rd, 1890, just for grins and giggles that, that we have it. Also, we have the physical newspapers in the back of this room that you can actually go through and see the actual physical newspaper. Okay, so there's a newspaper. Now, I have two things. Find a grave. Okay, Eleanor's not buried in Littleton, so whenever we do a cemetery walk and we bring Eleanor back, we just kind of stick her near her grandparents. All right, so Eleanor's in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I did that on Find a Grave. All right, now here's a very neat resource. When people ask, I bought this house. So anyway, one of the things we use are the Sanborn fire maps. These are absolutely incredible. So here, this is 1887, and you can see it's Main Street. Can you read that, Glenn? The Main is okay.
I can see the colors.
You do, and that's it? Oh, son of a gun. Okay, let's move this around here and try to get this a little bit better. Okay. Oh, Melissa Ives. I remember Melissa. I had her in school many years ago. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, folks, this is the 1887. Um, this is the 1887 one of the fire maps. You can get this online, and if you really want to take a trip past through time, go ahead and type in Sanborn fire maps. When you go to then go to Dartmouth College Library, perfectly legal. Then it says See Maps. Click on it. It brings you up, and then you type in Littleton, and it'll give you the maps, and you just click on them. So here's something I wanted to show you. Sanborn fire map. You see that square that's kind of pink? It's a pinkish reddish. That's a brick building. That's the bank. That bank is still there, by the way, because the street on the right is Clay Street, and the street on the left is School Street. And right at the corner of School Street in Maine, that was the Hodgman home. That was where Charles Hodgman lived. That's where Francis Hodgman Sr., the father, lived. Okay? Now, just to the right of it, okay, between the pink building and that building, there's another house. We know that as Profido's Market. So, in 1887, Profido's wasn't there. There was a house there. That house belonged to Francis Fletcher Hodgman. Not in 1887, in the late 1860s and very early 1870s. Okay, so that's the house where Eleanor Hodgman Porter was born. Okay, people say it was the house on the corner. We really don't know. I mean, my 100% guess really would be on that house right to the left of that pink building. So that is that pink that building now, and also you've heard of the Wallace Horse Cemetery. All right, that was the house that Eli and Myra Wallace lived in. They bought it from the Hodgman estate. But I'm not going to go there. That's not part of my story. Okay? I could go there, but I'm not. So let's see. What else do I have going on here? So we have the maps. And we have, let's see. I think that, there we go. There's the old Courier. All right. There's the picture of the ice, and then there's the cemetery records. We also have access to, what was that when you asked? Ancestry. We also have access to Ancestry.com, so we can do that. Okay, now we'll go back this way. All right.
Where are we going?
We're going to go show the screen.
Well,
Okay, hold on, everyone. We're showing the screen. Okay, and I got to make this. Oh gosh, there's something else I want to show you. We have to take a walk. We're going down to the other end. All right, ready? Everyone put your seatbelts on. We're going for a walk through the museum. So just enjoy the walk. I'm going to stop periodically because watching something that shakes too much can really give you a headache. We don't want to give you a rush or make you seasick. I should probably get wheels for this thing, but I don't have wheels. It never came with it. All right, we are heading up. Do you see that? See the butter churn in front of us? Just to the left, we're going up to that thing that's hanging up on the wall. And I have to watch out. We've received a few very neat things recently, and I'm going to show you while we're doing this. While we're over here, if you look there, see it says Premier Theater? That is what was here before the Jacks Jr. All right, and then, Glenn, want to get that other sign? And then we have, I did post this on our Facebook page. All right, that's cardboard. And then we have here the original Premier Theater sign. Now, I do have a guess that this has to be, can't go beyond 1927 because that's when the theater was built. Okay? So now I'm bringing you over here and I'm going to turn around. That's Leonardo da Vinci. It's not an original. It does not belong in the Sistine Chapel, nor does it belong in Rome. And here we go. So, just to give an idea, this is really cool. Glenn, want to demonstrate how those, I'm going to open up the tripod now. There we go. All right. And it's like a book. Go ahead, it's kind of like Vanna White here.
1877. First class to graduate from Littleton High School.
Yeah, I'm going to move in so you can see it. Okay.
78 and 79, no graduates. 1880.
So yeah, we go back. Know what I love? Right there, Dr. Page. That's his high school graduation picture. But Glenn, show how this thing flips through and we go through. Look at it. Now this is all the old high school. I mean, the old one. The old one was torn down in 1926. So it was 1868 to 1926.
Basketball team.
So we have, like, yeah, there's the 1910 basketball team. Who's down there? There's a baseball team.
1907.
1907. All right. I find people come in here when they visit and they'll stand there and just flip that and look and just look at it. And it's so easy to do. Just so easy to do this. All right. I got to keep track of my time. Oh my gosh, I have 3 minutes.
1911.
Yep. Okay.
State champs. Baseball.
Okay. Yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to move back down to the other end. Listen, put your seatbelts on. I'm going to walk quickly, and it may not be the smoothest ride. And this is kind of like what you look at when you go down. We have a good-sized museum. All right. Wow, I'm looking through this and I've not tripped over it. You've not heard me scream and go down on my face. Here we go. Now, we will go bring this back down. And I will bring this close. I will do that. So, all right. So there is, who's that again? Esther.
Esther. Esther the pig.
Esther the pig. I love Esther. She wears a hat. There you go. That's incredible. And you notice what Esther's going to do. She's going to leave us a great review on the hint. And you notice? She's trying to give you a hint. All right? So here's other questions. My second cousin's great-grandfather lived on Union Street. His last name was Chutter. Where was his house? I promised to take a photo for him. Well, look at this. Well, yeah. I mean, Lincoln is his second cousin's great-grandfather. Well, remember I told you about the maps? Okay? We can go to Union Street on those fire maps. Also, we have a wonderful, you might be able to see it here. This is a 1924 map. Also, Glenn, I'm going to climb around the other side. They have a nice picture of the rug right now. All right. These are all of our maps, okay? These are Littleton maps. And we have, I'm not going to pull that out, but we have old maps of Main Street. Well, that's kind of a cool thing. Okay, so I mean, we have all sorts of maps. We are loaded with maps. So we can find all sorts of stuff. Another thing that I want to bring up is we do have 2 of the original fire maps here. But we have Glenwood Cemetery maps here. Town maps, we have more maps of Littleton in here, okay? Bethlehem Municipal Power Lines, 1871 Levitt's Map of the White Mountains. I mean, we're loaded. We are absolutely loaded. And so it's just, we're pretty good at finding things for you. All right? Now, we're going to move back that away. And I just hope you don't have a shot of my left nostril. And we will go back this way. And we will go back there. So what we would do is to find out who was living there, all right, we would use a business directory from over there. We would take one of those. We would look up Chutter. We would find out his home address. We would then go to the computer. We would look at the 1887, 1891 map, and then we would say, that's where the house is, and it's still there. So that's how we would research, and we've been pretty lucky with, or pretty accurate. Pardon me for moving this around. Okay, there we go. So this is what I would say: business directory, maps. Oh, Ferber. All right, did I get it, Glenn?
Get it.
Got it? Okay. We are fortunate. We have, this is a copy of it. It's transcribed. And it's every building in the town of Littleton from the start of Littleton to 1895. Okay? That's wicked cool. So you can also, look up in the index. You can find Union Street. And then you just read Union Street. You'll find out who built the house and who lived in it from the time of its original construction up to 1895. By the way, this is a copy. I have a copy at home I use for news when I do the newsletters. But this is the original. This is the original. And it is all handwritten in 1895 by George Ferber, who worked for one of the newspapers in town. So this is, like I said, the original. All right. Now, where am I going? Did the Ferber account. Now I'm coming back here to get this. All right. 29 minutes or so. Well, actually, I've gone over, but all right, that's great. Thank you much. So I let everyone know about the museum on Instagram, Twitter, and anything else. And you notice, you see our logo. Well, I thought, Okay, so my dog's in on it, AB. And he says, I've always been interested in the town that's under Moore Dam. I've seen the steeple of the church when the water's low. Well, Moore Dam, are we ready? It was called Pattonville. Glenn, you want to slide that thing? Just turn it around. We have a collection of tubs. They're all over here. All right. This is Moore Dam and Pattonville. You get into this, and you can go through what was there as a town. We have everything here. We have the cemetery maps for Pattonville, which the cemetery is no longer there. What I would do to research, I would use this. We have the files, which I'm looking at over there. We have extensive files on Pattonville. We actually have George Patton, not General George Patton, all right? After whom Pattonville is named. We have his toolbox on display. His great-grandson, nephew, someone brought it from, I want to say, Spokane, Washington. Drove it out here from Spokane, and which I thought was kind of a neat thing. So we have that, okay? Glenn, we can zip that around. Okay, are we back? Are we back in focus? Yeah, we're back in focus. Okay, good one. And put that one down there. All right. So, my dog is saying, I've seen the steeple of the church when the water's low. Well, I would go to the Tub, Files, Two Chest, Wheeler Hill Cemetery, because that's where they move some of the bodies, and some are in Lower Waterford, Vermont. So my dog says, I didn't see the steeple. No, you didn't see the steeple. So he's wondering, he wondered what we mixed into his kibble. There are no buildings under Pattonville. As a matter of fact, the church burnt to the ground. Anyway, all great information. So listen, love us on TripAdvisor, because when we do open, I want people to type in Littleton, New Hampshire, what's there to do, and we are going to go, there we are. And we'd love to have a reason to open up more than 2 days a week. Okay? Well, Esther is saying there's another program at 10:30 on Saturday. Abe is saying, oh, another thing people have been enjoying is the Sunday morning music at 9 a.m. And I've been playing hymns on the piano in about a half hour. It's people sit, listen, they have their coffee, and Harry Marcus. Who's Harry Marcus? I don't know. So people enjoy listening to the music. So what we're going to do is I'm fairly good at sight reading. If my wife is looking at this thing while I'm playing and you have a hymn you'd like, type it in and send it. And I might be able to play it if I have time. Okay, so remember, we have Sunday morning. Visit our website, littletonnhmuseum.com. Very easy to remember. The town, the state, what we are, and a calm after it. Something else, too, I have not brought up, and I'm going to do it now, and I have the cow telling us, Mascoma Bank. Huge thanks and much gratitude to Mascoma Bank, Moo, for their grant of $5,000 for our technology development. What did they give us money for? Well, I'm going to tell you. Over here, which I'm going to zip over this way a little bit, just on the other side of the computer, you can see right down over in here, we have a large scanner. We now have a couple of scanners. This will do maps. It's a great scanner. It wasn't cheap, thank you, Mascoma. But also something else we're doing, and I mean the pandemic closed us down. But if you look over here, we actually worked. We do have 2 laptops that we purchased. We are going to purchase more exterior drives, because I want to make copies of the Littleton newspapers, so people come in to research. They can sit over here, and that's a 6-foot table. We can actually keep you socially distant. So we have those. Also, in back of it, I'd like to show you, you see those right there. Those are Littleton High School yearbooks that go way back in years. We have Littleton, books written by Littleton authors. One of the things about Pattonville that I would have checked on, I'd never mentioned, was do we have the one over there, Glenn, by Wilbur Willey? I think it's by, there's a book by Wilbur Willey, which is great. Glenn's going to be on TV now. All right. Is that the one, the second shelf down? Like tan colored? Right, the taller ones. There, is that's not a Wilbur one?
That's Life by the Tracks.
Nope. We do have. I don't. Well, I'm not going to take time now, but we do have Wilbur Willey. We have another author. Who lived in the area, so you can really find out a lot. So we really want a big, huge moo for Mascoma Bank, and for a laptop, scanner, and also pays for our tech support and programs. So really helped out a great deal. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, how did we do? Oh my gosh, we went 40 minutes. But this is our research area, just to give you one last shot at where we are. That's the main computer that we use. Everything is labeled. We have an air exchanger. Those are all of our tubs. We have more research. There's another section down on that area. Okay. Barbara, you're watching, you're getting homesick. And even though the table, actually it looks a mess, it's not really that bad. Um, but we put two tables together, and this is where we work. So anyway, I'd like to thank you very much for tuning in this morning. Sorry I went over, but there was an awful lot of stuff to do and talk about and tell you about. So listen, the pig, the dogs, everyone else told you what to do for liking us. So go ahead and like us. Tune in, and don't forget, there's been enough of these programs, you can actually binge watch Littleton history. So I will see you on Saturday morning from the museum. Take care. Bye-bye.